Hello and welcome to my Windows XP Administration class. I'm excited about teaching you this software. Windows XP is by far the most stable and flexible operating system to date. It has many new administration features, and the purpose of this training is to familiarize you with the XP administration features and to prepare you to take and pass the Microsoft 70-270 test should you decide to do so. The 70-270 test will count as a core test for both the MCSE track and the MCSA track, so it's an important test. Now, this training will be a mixture of a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation as well as live software. And since we have to keep it to 256 colors so that we stream over the internet properly, we won't be quite as crisp in this training as you'll find Windows XP to be on your own system. But let's take a look at an overview of what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at how to install Windows XP Professional, both a manual installation with a disk and over the network, as well as automating an installation. There are many ways to automate the installation of Windows XP. Then we'll take a look at troubleshooting the boot process. There's nothing more frustrating than a computer that won't start. So we'll examine what our opportunities are at that point. We'll also learn about hardware configuration. We need to understand the hardware in the computer and how to configure it in order to be able to troubleshoot properly. We'll also learn about managing our desktop to keep things organized. There are some new features on the Windows XP desktop which make things very nice for a person who wants to run the computer as well as administer it. We also need to be able to connect to other computers in our network. So we'll examine administering connectivity. And the most common protocol that we're going to use is TCP/IP, since that's the protocol that's used on the internet. So we need to understand how TCP/IP functions and how we configure TCP/IP. But we don't use IP addresses to address computers. People use other addresses like host names, and then those host names are resolved to IP addresses. This is called the name resolution process. We'll learn about the name resolution process and the many ways that IP addresses are resolved within a network. We can also connect to other computers and do work on those computers from a remote computer. So we'll take a look at remote access connectivity and how we can use remote access connectivity to help other people as well as be helped ourselves. So these are the key concepts that we'll cover in the XP Professional Administration training. And we'll sum it all up with preparing to take and pass the 70-270 test. As we said, the 70-270 test counts as a core test towards the MCSE track and the MCSA track. So if you want to take and pass the test, I'll give you some tips on taking and passing any certification test. Tips that have worked for me in the past, and I believe they'll work for you as well. But we'll start it all off with installing Windows XP Professional. That's next.